Hi, this is Kirk with Forex Strategy Secrets. Today we want to talk about entry signals, mainly concerning the early bird entries and the Norwood alert entries. Now we're going to show you how to do all this manually. If you don't even have the alerts, you just have the charts and the cores, and how you can time these things and wait for them to happen and see what's taking place. Then we're going to show you how to use it with the alerts, the automated way to assist you. It's the same thing. The alerts don't tell you to get into a trade. They just say, hey, come take a look. And that's doing the same thing as what you're doing when you enter. Okay, so what we're going to first of all start off with is this day chart. And then we're going to do different charts going in the different time frames. I'm going to mark a mark right here. There's an early bird alert. Now that is one signal, but are there other things that said that might be worth considering? Look at that cross that hotline. Look at the blue light special as well. Look at the off points. There's a number of things right there that said, hey, that's worth considering. On the day, larger time frame, you don't take a trade necessarily on the day. You just find the direction of the trend on the day. Let's mark another one. Okay, we know this is a retracement, but it doesn't even, it's an early bird, but it doesn't line up as a blue light special, and since the trend's going down, you should know by now that that is a retracement. It's headed into a retracement. It's not a direction change on the market. Right here was your direction change. So if you see that going like that, the price going up, and the momentum going down, that tells you when that hit, and it was a blue light special, that was a high probability chance that there might be something changing on the day. So that's some other things you could look for. It's not necessarily an entry signal, but it's giving you confirmation that you could start looking for an entry and which direction that entry would be going in. Okay, now we just marked these two, and let me mark one more. Okay, see, this is an early bird only. It's not a blue light special. And I'm going to mark one more, show you where the blue light special came in. See, this was below the zero line on the AO, and the Norwood alert hit. So there's a couple of things that said heads up right here. So let's go look at a couple of these and see what we would see on the 4 hour. Now we're also going to use the trade grader system. So this grades out good here. It doesn't grade out the way we like to have it here, even though you could trade this because this is the day chart. All you need on the day chart is just the early bird. It's better if you have a blue light special to give you a bigger grade, but the early bird is okay. Right here is just an early bird. It's not a blue light special. So you can see what happens when you get the stronger signal. Now let's go look at these different time frames now. So right here on the left, we have the 4 hour. Right there at that spot, it did not confirm. It did not grade out. Where did it grade out? It graded out right there. And guess what also happened there? It was an early bird on the 4 hour and a Norwood alert, and it was a blue light special. So that says, okay, now I'm in agreement with the day at this point, and so there's possibly a chance to enter a trade there. And you could trade through this level period down here. That would be easy to trade through. Learn to trade through this type of situation also. You get in, okay, you get out for 40, 50 pips. That's okay. And it did go back from bottom to top about 50 pips. It did not go up to even come to break even. So you still would have been in profit the whole time. Not much, but you would have been in profit the whole time, and then get in. Okay, here's a little tip. If you entered here and you closed the trade out, either you got stopped out or you closed the trade out right in this area. So you had one lot on right there. You know that this is going to be an add-on signal. What would be a thing that you could possibly do right here? You could add 2 lots. You come down here and got out, got back in right here, add 2 lots on. Now you know this is a high probability trade, and it's going to give you a pretty good move right there. These are just confirmations. We haven't even got to the entry signal yet. Let me move this anchor over and move to the 1 hour. Okay, we noticed that on the 4-hour chart, it still stayed blue, even though the day said it was going short. It was right over here is where the 1 hour suggested that we might want to get in. So over in here, there was that trade that we took. Here's the retracement on that 4 hour. All this information right here was on the 4 hour. I'm going to put a line right here just to go back and look at the 4 hour. Right here, let me do that again. Go to the 1 hour, and I'll move this over by the anchor so we'll know that it stays right there. Okay, this is what the 4 hour did. See, the 1 hour, it came down and it came back up. Excuse me, the 4 hour came down, came back up, went sideways. Okay, I'm going over this because I want you to see the entry signals, the setups, the confirmations. Right here, it kind of said going down, but this is the part you want to maybe either take a trade or trade or close your trade and then get back in when it really gives you strong signals over in this area. So see that trend right there? That's where you want to look for. So grade it out, and that will be that'll save you more pips than anything you can do is if you grade the trade. And when the grade changes, that's heads up to get out as an exit signal. Okay, so what have we talked about? We've talked about early bird entries, and we've talked about a Norwood alert entry based on one alert came up. But this is how you do it. You find the trend on the day and match it on the 4 hour. Once it matches on the 4 hour, like right here, then trade any time frame that you feel comfortable with, the 1, the 30, the 15, if you want to go to the 5, but always trade in the direction of the trend of the day and the 4 hour. When they grade out properly, then you have a good grade, a trade that has a high probability. So we've talked about long-term, day, 4 hour, 1 hour. I suggested that once the day and the 4 hour match up, then you can go to smaller time frames. Let's just see, we know that the 1 hour right in here, either 1 hour before was a heads up. This is a 5 alarm right here. Let's go look at the 30-minute at that point in time. See, it was going good. And the 15-minute was going good. So you can see that the market doesn't continue to always go just straight. So you have to learn to trade through these based on what the trend's doing on these larger time frames. Now we're on the Aussie US right now. I'm going to look specific. I'm going to go to a different currency pair. Let's just do the US Swiss since it's right there below it. Okay, see these lines that don't apply because the US Swiss is doing something different than the US dollar, so or the Aussie dollar. So let me take those off. What are we looking for now? We're looking for early birds. What happened earlier this week? There was an early bird. And then I'm going to mark where the blue light special came in. Okay, early bird says you can go look at the smaller time frames if it's on the day chart. If you're looking at the 4 hour as your larger time frame, then you need to have a blue light special. But you need to have a blue light special to confirm what the day is telling you right here. Okay, so what we have here. This first one was an early bird on the day. The 4 hour didn't grade out. See, that would have kept you out of that drawdown right there. But you could have gotten in right here. Now, this line right here was where the blue light special took place. So you could have entered a trade here and actually put your stop up here, and you could have withstood that financially, and mechanically it was a great way to trade. But emotionally, you may not have been able to handle that. So this is just confirmation we're looking for here. So now we're going to move this anchor over, right? Put it in the middle of those two, and I'm going to go to the 1 hour. So here's the 1 hour. See, the 1 hour didn't grade out, right, on that early bird on the day. I'll go back to the day. That was just an early bird. Part of it was way up, and so it probably opened up, went up, and then started coming back down until it closed. 4-hour did not confirm. That in itself would have kept you out of the trade. Now the 1 hour confirms that, hey, that's not going to work. This is where it retraced. It opened up, went long for 8 or 9 hours, and then it started getting the move. That's what the 1 hour tells us. Okay, the 4-hour shows us it's going down. This bar is the day. So where does the 4-hour say that it's going short? Right there. What do we have? We have a Norwood alert, early bird, and we have a blue light special. So that confirms just what the day told us. So with that being the trend, then we can go to a lot of smaller time frames and find trends and trades. Right here. See how nice that trade was? That setup. It wasn't quite a 5 alarm, but it had a Norwood alert, so that would be a good one to trade right there for 30, 40 pips. Okay, right here, let's look at the 30-minute now. Would this have been a trade that you would have wanted to enter on? Yeah, see, it had a blue light special, and it was also crossing the zero line. That's another heads up that maybe the momentum's going in that same direction once it crosses the zero line. So that said that graded out okay. Let's see with the 15-minute. 15-minute, it probably was better here. You could have taken right there, but everything confirmed right there. You had from the 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, 1 day confirm all in that same direction. That's a 29, 30 pip move right in that range. So I showed you different time frames. Okay, now we've been talking about the concept of top down. We started the larger time frames, and then we waited for the smaller time frames to come to our attention. But this is what happens a lot of times. We can't get to the computer right at the start of a 4-hour bar. So we're coming in the middle someplace. Let's just do an example of the 4-hour. Let's just take a total different trade. We just go to the day and find something. I'm going to take this one. This is where we came in this day. The market had been moving. You've been on vacation. You came back. You didn't even see this. So we're going to put an anchor right there. So the day says it's going long, but now we know that that's the direction we're going to be trading. But let's just go to the 1 hour. See, the 1 hour says no, it's not time to get in. Right here was one signal. If you'd seen this, it was a good time to get in. This is the beginning of the European market. And here's a Norwood alert. That came a few hours later. So the day said something, take a trade, and the Norwood alert came on the 1 hour. Let's mark that where the 1 hour says okay and see if the 4-hour confirmed. See, the 4-hour confirmed because it was all ready to go anyway. But what we were doing is we came in on a smaller time frame, and now we traded and went from bottom up. We started the smaller time frame, and then we went up to see if everything was working good. Look at the angles of your hotlines. If they're all kind of pointed up, right here there was a retracement. Well, you know that was still a retracement on an uptrend, so you don't worry about that. You wait until it comes around and tells you what's going on. So you come in, you see that, heads up, you've got a Norwood alert on the 1 hour, confirm it on the larger time frame, which we know that it does grade out good, and it goes up, and there's 20, 30 pip move. So that's how you can grade the trade. We've talked about from top down, now bottom up. So let's even go to some smaller time frames on the bottom up. Right here we've determined that the 1 hour didn't grade out properly. So you have the day and the 4 hours said okay, the 1 hour did not grade out properly. So I'm going to go to the 30-minute and see what it said. See, it didn't grade out properly either, right until this area over here, that the 1 hour graded out okay. And then we had a good grade on the 15-minute. And then you can see over here on the 15-minute, it gave us some additional good signal. So here's what you can do. When you can actually set your alerts if you have them. If you don't, just look for them. You come in every 15 minutes. Right here, this is the 15 minutes prior to the opening of the U.S. session, U.S. trading room. Okay, there was an Norwood alert, but you say you don't have the alerts, but that grades out okay. It's above the zero line. It's actually a 5-alarm trade on that 15-minute. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to write to the day. Okay, we know that that was the mark on the day. It said long, and the 4-hour confirmed. The day had all these lines. The 4-hour has all 3 of these lines confirmed. So that with that confirmation, you can go to the 1-hour, 30, and you jump to the 15-minute because that's maybe where you saw the trade. And so from right there, there's a nice trade, and it was 20 some odd pips for the exit signals over here. You get the concept of how it works. Let the market come to you. Don't be chasing trades. So we, in the trading room, bring it to everyone's attention. I'm looking at this from bottom up. I got a 5-alarm trade, or I got a signal on the 15-minute or the 30-minute, and I graded it, and it grades good on all larger time frames. The 4-hour and the day grade good, and the 15-minute was a potential entry signal. And there were no really big entry signals, except, you see an entry signal here on this time bar right here, and a saddle buy. That's when it turned into be a blue light special. Now, would that have been a pretty safe move? Well, you don't even need to wait until it crosses the fractal break, because everything, that's a 5-alarm trade there, and everything above, we already done this. See, it all grades out okay on the 30-minute. So there's another add-on. So there's, you can get in over here if you rode through that. If you didn't, get back in, put an add-on right in here, and then another add-on right there. That's an entry signal. Why is that an entry signal? Why is that? You don't have to wait until it confirms and it goes up 500 pips above to say, oh, yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. Grade it out. If everything else is grading in that direction, as all you're seeing is this spot right here. You don't see everything off to the right. Okay, this might be a little bit hard to see, but as all you see is that right there. You see it past the fractals, and was going up, looked good, graded out well, and then you go to the 1-hour, and I better mark that. Okay, now we go up to the larger time frames. Let's just go one at a time. Do you see the 1-hour still graded out good? It's hard to see, but that is a blue. There's a 5-alarm trade on the 1-hour. The 4-hour was a 5-alarm trade. The day was a 3-alarm or 3 graded out good. So everything said it was going up. Look at the angle of the hotlines. Look at the angle of the AO. Look at the convergence. See right there, it said right in here that it was probably going to change, and then everything started really hitting over here. So that's how you can go from bottom up, find a signal, and grade it up. We have people calling out, oh, there's a 5-alarm on the 15-minute. It was a good 5-alarm, but when you grade it out, it wasn't good. Other times it's fantastic, and that's a good one that everyone could take advantage of. So we want more people to be aware of how this works, so that in the trading room, we're calling out looking for trades, not just waiting for someone to find them for us. We find them and mention them to other people, because many times you're going to see something and bring a good trade, somebody else is going to bring a good trade, and then we can have more trading taking place. Now, basically, we just talked about how to do this manually. Okay, I'm going to put it, now we know that this is a, what we have, 3.5, 4 hours before the market's going to close. Let's go in and take a look. This says possibly consider going short. Get the anchor. We're going to grade right on this current spot right here. This is what the day is telling us. What's the 4 hour doing? Okay, right at this current spot, the 4 hour agrees with that. So I'm going to move another line right here. This is the day. It said go short. The 4 hour said it agrees with that. Let's go to the 1 hour. 1 hour, it's kind of doing a retracement. It does grade out okay, but look at the shape of the bars. Look at the shape of the hot lines. So you have to take more than just, oh, it graded out okay and hurry and jump in, and then wonder why you took a drawdown before it actually took off in your direction. Look at the other indicator and say, okay, now I'm waiting for this to, it'll possibly on the 1 hour maybe turn blue for a while and then turn and come down. When it does that, you'll probably have a saddle sell over here. Now let's go look at the 30-minute and see if that would say to get in. See, it doesn't grade out either. It's actually wanting to go long. See, that doesn't grade out either, going short. So that one grade. So we've taken a current thing and said, okay, this trade is the best it could be is on a watch list. Let's just go to the Euro US and see what it does right at the current spot right here. Okay, on this day, it says it's looking like it wants to go long. It's been going sideways for a while if you just look at the day bars. Okay, this is the day, this is the 4 hour. So the 4 hour right at that same spot, and this 4 hour came about 1 hour and 20 minutes ago is when this 4 hour bar formed. Let's go look at the 1 hour. Did it grade out okay? Yes, right there it did grade out okay. I'm concerned about the angle of that hot line. It looked like it might be taking a rest. So let's go look at the smaller time frame and see if it's going to take a rest to come down and go back up. See, it's coming down. It's trying to go back up. It hasn't created a saddle buy yet on the 30-minute. It's not showing a saddle buy on the 15. What it's doing is showing the momentum slowing or resting. It's not a total change in direction, but it didn't grade out right. Okay, does that surprise anybody 2 or 3 hours before the market closes on a Friday? No. A lot of times that's what it does. So just be aware that many times if nothing is really moving much, if I have trades on, I manage them, get the stop set so that we're all taken care of as far as I think I'll have my profits and my stop losses protected. And then I quit trading about now on Fridays. There's no use sitting there and trying to figure things out. By now you should have had your watch list. Let the market take care of itself, take a break, go do something else. When the market opens up when you normally would start, then go back and start looking at things. Okay, now we've talked about the manual way of doing things, and we've actually graded some out based on what's happening right now and why we may want to stay out. Stay out because the currency doesn't grade properly. Stay out because of maybe the time of the week that it is, as how it's getting close to the time the market's going to be closing. Now, I'm going to go to the early bird alert. This takes a little bit of time to set it up, but once it's set up, it is just a fantastic tool. You notice that I have it set on the day and the 4 hour only on all charts. Sometimes I do this. You can drag it over, drop it on. I take off the 4 hour. I right click at the top. It says update all symbols. So now that when it's highlighted in red, that means it's going to change all of them. And you'll notice that the 4 hour will start disappearing on the charts. And what's activating it to actually do that is there was a price change in the market watch. That's what says, okay, the next price change, it moved. Now, and you notice this is US yen hadn't changed yet. Now, the other way you can make it change and populate properly, change times frames up here. I'm going to go to the 4 hour, see, and that changed. So apparently the US yen is not even moving very much at all. Okay, so this is one way that I use this. I'm going to give you something is how you can use this manually as well. Whenever you get a new day bar forming with your broker, make it sure that it's timed to your broker. Not when I say it's with mine. Mine happens at 5 o'clock my time, but yours might happen at 7 o'clock on the same broker, depending on where you live, or it might be 8 o'clock in the morning. But there's a new bar forming on a day bar, and when that happens, then have your early bird set. Okay, manually is what you do, is go back and look at every chart if you don't have the early bird, and actually look to see if everything's set up properly. Sometimes the day bar can turn and start out one color, partway through it'll turn and come back and be a different color, and the alert will alert you again. Now what does that alert look like? I restarted my computer so everything would be fresh, so I don't have any alerts to show you, but I'll show you how you can get some quickly. Here's the little box that shows you what it's going to look like. So I'm going to minimize that, right click. Okay, I think it's ready to go. So that's what I usually do, is have this set like that. Now I'm going to get some of those things to pop up quickly. I'm going to set the 1 minute chart on all currency pairs and show you what's happening. So it shouldn't be too long after that gets, as you can see, it's populating now. And then you'll see that this will start popping up. Okay, while that's doing that, while I'm waiting for something to pop up in the new bars to form, they can pop up in the between from the time the minute forms until it closes, but most of the time will happen close to the time the new minute bar forms. So say you're on the day chart and you get a heads up that it's going in a direction, and then you see in the 4 hour it says, hey, I'm going the same way. Okay, that's what you get. One says it's going short, one says it's going long on the 1 minute, and it gives you the price at which point it hits. And they pop up, so if I close that, it'll pop back up the next one that happens. So I like to minimize it, and when it pops up you can see it. If a bunch come at one time, you need to look through them. So you see the day and the 4 hour are lining up properly. So it's what you want to do. How come it's not coming up? Must be Norwood alerts are going off. Then go to your 1 hour. Let's say, I'm just going to pick this Euro New Zealand. I don't know what it's doing right now, but this is how you do it. See, the 4 hours already going off. We know that that's graded out. Everything's good there. Click on the 1 hour on this one chart. That's the only one you wanted the hour on. So now all you have to do is wait until that early bird pops up. You can have it sent to your cell phone and know that that's when you can come back. This is how you build your watch list. Okay, the other thing that you would do is set your Norwood alert so it can come up. Now, so we don't get pestered by these 1 minute charts like that, I'm going to come over here like this. You can put on any chart. Click that, right click, and I'm going to close all. You notice that they all minimized. I even took that 1 hour off because I said put them all just to the day bar. If you want that 1 hour to go back on, you go like that, and I just set it for that one chart. Okay, now the Norwood alert. It doesn't make a difference which currency pair we're looking at. This is a concept. We're not looking for trades right this minute. Let's go to the Aussie dollar, because that's where I saw an alert on a 30-minute chart on the Aussie dollar. There it is right there. Not all alerts are entry signals. They're heads up, come take a look, something's changing. That's what the alerts are for. Many times they'll hit where it's time to enter, and that was one right there. See, this one was not. So I want to go to my N alert period. Drag it over. See, on this particular currency pair, the Aussie dollar, I have 31 hour, 4-hour set. I was watching that at one time. Okay, now it'll only give me an alert if one happens on the day chart. So we did on that last one. We said that the day set up, the 4-hour graded out okay, and now we want to we had an early bird alert, and let's have a Norwood alert go off to tell us when the alert's coming in a good setup signal on the 1 hour. So that's how you use it top down. How to use it bottom up. You could go on those pairs that you're looking for and set it on the hour on all the pairs you want to look for. Whenever you get a Norwood alert on the 1 hour, then you go back up the other way and grade the trade out from bottom up. You were looking for these alerts in the smaller time frames. Now, that's what I've done is I've shown you 2 ways of doing it. Manually, if you don't have the alerts, and how do you use it if you do have the alerts. The advantage of the alerts would be to give you more opportunities. You cannot possibly watch all of the time frames, all the currency pairs. Your watch lists are going to be 5 or 10 pairs possibly at one time. And to watch those all the time, if you're sitting there all day long, yeah, you can. But what if you need to get away? What if you don't have the opportunity? You're working, or you have tasks you need to go to. Then this alerts are just tools to bring things to your attention so you can trade more currency pairs, more time frames, and still be able to do something other than watch charts. Okay, I've covered everything that I wanted to cover as far as entry signals using the early bird and the Norwood alert, and then the time frames and how to grade the trades. Going from top down, bottom up, and show you how to use the alerts. You still use the grading system to grade it out. The alert brings it to your attention. Maybe you've graded it out and says, when I get an alert on this time frame, then I know that that's what I want to do. I want to get in, or you could have it such that I want to get out. Here's another way you can use the alerts. See this day? When that's red, trade in that direction. Mainly that's going to be short. Now you need to go check it out just to make sure. This is the Aussie dollar, and we'll go right to the day so you can see. Okay, it's been going down for a while. When the 4-hour, you can actually see if it's going to grade out. If the 4-hour is not red also, you know right away it's not going to grade out. That's a fast way of grading a trade without having to look at all the time frames. Just you can look through. Another way of looking is go in here, and you can just look and see which pairs that have the same color. Euro US says long, long. Okay, the day is long. You can see it's retraced back. No, it's up. These are just marking lines. It's gone up, but the 4-hour is going the same color. So right there was a decent entry possibility. Notice over here, the 1 hour just turned not too long ago. Right there. See, it went up, came back down. This would have been a good grade when these were 3 or 4 hours ago. But now it's saying, hey, possibly another good grade. So you can use the trend alert also to help you grade things quickly.